intro like commercials for the channel.
Oh yeah, nice. Like a promo.
Dimebag, I like these guys. No idea why.
Me neither.
Beresford,
Me neither. I
same.
don't know why either.
Yeah. Beresford doesn't know why he likes us either. How's everybody doing, man? It's been a week. Has it ever?
Oh, yeah.
This has been a bunch of product got just dumped on me and product that I wanted to review. So, and then with the desk and all that stuff. Dylan, you didn't see the most recent video, the Ceremonic video, did you?
We talked about it. I didn't see it. No.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of wondering what people think of the actual the background now. Well, it's kind of like this background here.
Yeah.
Live.
Love the angles.
How's everybody's audio? Let me know.
Yeah. Check. How we sounding?
Beresford, I have no idea why I started watching these live streams. Maybe because I have nothing better to do on a Friday night. Ouch.
Us neither. I've thought about that before. I'm like, of all the days.
That's a review, man. I'm gonna put that up on our website. That's some words of love right there, right? Yeah. I have no idea why I watch these idiots. I guess I'm a loser. Good afternoon, dudes. Holidays starting out. Nice. Holidays.
Hey, Deb.
I don't think I'm getting holidays this year. Any holidays I get are self-imposed, but with the kids synchronized swimming, I don't know if we have time. Like we have time in December, but going away in December is so cumbersome. Like if you're trying to navigate like family and all that crap. And
yeah, there's a lot of stuff. We do staycation. That's what we do. It works. I couldn't imagine. Well, for a while I was traveling and that sucks. Traveling for the holiday, if you can avoid it, do it. Because
I don't mind being gone for Christmas. Like I'm not big on like must be with family like my family, wife and kid. Yes. Yeah. But like all the other like extended family, Hinge Shrimp, how's it going, buddy? You made it to the beginning of the live stream. Welcome. And Nickel Ninja, how's the secret lab desk? I actually have a video. I just wrote up the video today because it's been like 2 weeks with it. It's awesome. There's a couple things that I would never buy again out of it. I like the riser. The riser is a gigantic pain in the ass. I'll let you wait for the video to find out why. And the LED strip. It's a gorgeous LED strip, but yeah, there's problems with it. So yeah, wait for the video. It'll be fun. I was going to do like a build video of me putting it together, but then I think I said this before, it just turns into a big old guy just sweating and trying to put a table together. It's not not
that congenial.
I don't use the riser. I hate it. Yeah, it gets in the way of the cable tray. So you can't actually get into the cable tray. And then I have the monitor stands on the table as well, or on the desk as well. So literally the whole cable trays, I need to pull the whole thing out. So
God.
Shrimp. Oh, Shrimp. I keep only catching the tail end. Glad to see y'all. Yeah, good to see you too, buddy.
Yeah, good to be here.
The Golden Boys. I think that's referencing exactly how white we are.
Yeah,
more a fan of what's that?
The lighting doesn't help. Well, mine doesn't.
No, the lighting really does not for either of us. Like there's a whole new level of pasty.
Like I look like uncooked chicken right now. Like I'm so pink.
This is the winter though. This is what happens when you're getting into fall in Canada. Is the tan goes away and then you just turn translucent, man.
Yeah. Yep.
This is an interesting one. So VESA mounts instead of risers. I prefer VESA mounts as well. Problem is I'm really kind of spoiling myself with the 43-inch monitors. I considered doing like different size of monitors, but after working with the 43-inch for so long, I don't think I can ever go back to anything smaller. I was thinking about getting a 49-inch ultra wide from the G9 Neo, which is like $1,500. But then I like the height. I like the full 43 inches. So yeah. Anyways, this is funny because every week I try to come in here with I've been trying to come in with at least one thing to talk about. The only thing I had to talk about this week is, I don't know if you guys caught the original video today. I can't really talk much about it. This is the Saramonic Ultra video that just popped out. I had an interesting run-in with the company, and it was part of the package when they send you stuff. This is the Saramonic Ultra. They send you a package, and it's usually like, this is the stuff you can talk about. This is the stuff, the highlights of the product, the highlights. Sometimes they'll even put out this would be a good idea. Maybe try to get this angle, or, try it out in this. And there's a few too many recommendations in that. Okay, I gotta point this one out. Bangs, Dylan, the other white meat. He tastes like chicken. Thanks for the super chat. Fucking wonderful. So yeah, this is the third time this year I've had a company trying to insinuate themselves into the video in a way that kind of makes it sound like it's a paid advertisement rather than an actual review. And it went better than I thought it was going to. I can't actually. So the brief that I got when I got this Saramonic, there was a little clause at the end that basically said, this is confidential. You can't discuss anything that's within this brief. The irony in that is most of the things in the brief had to do with what I was supposed to talk about with these. So technically I'm sharing what's in the brief, but that's also why I'm like, well, I don't want to start stepping on red tape and then start getting strikes rolling through my channel. But yeah, this is another experience I've had where I don't want to work with the company now. And I talked to Bandrew about this. I reached out to Bandrew as soon as it happened. And I'm like, what the fuck do you do? And Bandrew's like, well, this is why I buy all my gear now. And I can't, I could not financially, I would be ruined if I had to buy all the gear but there's also correct me if I'm wrong, Dylan, isn't there kind of an unspoken rule of conduct in this? There's nothing saying that a company can't say, hey, do you mind if I see this video before it goes out?
No.
There's nothing saying a company can't say that. There's nothing saying that a company can't ask for that. But isn't there a specific kind of unwritten rule of conduct that says you can't ask that? Because as soon as you do that, you're creating unsafe dialogue. Well, not unsafe, but it's not. Yeah, as soon as you get a chance to see the video before anyone else, now there's an idea that you might be trying to influence how the video comes out, or just the idea of knowing that the company is going to be viewing the video prior to it going out might make the content creator a little bit nervous about saying anything bad about the product.
Yeah, there's sort of a premeditated hesitancy there. That's a factor for sure. I think there's an ethical problem, right? And the thing about ethics is they're up to interpretation a lot of the time. And I think you'll find different businesses. I think there should be a rule that says to do that. But a lot of these unwritten rules, if a company doesn't want to follow it, if a company just wants to because what this boils down to, and you and I were talking about this pre-stream, this boils down to, and I don't know if this is a factor in this exact scenario, but a lot of time it's companies taking advantage of ignorance. And content creators, wanting the product obviously and being able to subvert whatever ethics in order to fulfill the obligations of the deal. And I think, you've had it before where companies have come in, double heavy, and you're like, whoa. And they're like, oh, what do you want? What can we do to change it to make it better? And it's like, okay, well, you were willing to change it. So that's good. But you went in, up here.
That Yellowtech situation was different because Yellowtech had kind of misleading language in the contract, and so contracts are nothing new. NDAs are nothing new within this industry, and you find yourself signing NDAs all the time. Now with Saramonic, I didn't sign anything, thankfully. But contracts for stuff with Yellowtech are also understandable. It happens sometimes. The problem is when you end up outright saying, hey, I would prefer if you let us see this video before it went live.
Yeah. If you want editorial rights too, seeing it before it goes live, okay, that's one thing. I don't weigh that as aggressively, but if you want to do that and then you want to enact on editorializing okay, now this should be paid. Realistically, this should be paid because I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, and it's
You
no
know,
longer a review; it's a showcase.
yeah, and then it's, as you
Right?
kind of alluded to, it's no longer organic.
Oh yeah,
It's
but
that,
and it's
and it becomes
something that's
it becomes
okay.
transactional. We want to avoid these kinds of deals being transactional.
I was had a bumping thing. It's the road arm was bumping up against my boom. Anyways, also, and this is something that was actually in my video, and I removed it because I didn't want the bullshit. And I talked to Dylan about this, about the power imbalance. There is an inherent power imbalance between company and reviewer when you're a small channel, and I'm technically a small channel. And most companies don't try to take advantage of that power imbalance. Most companies don't, like big, decent sized companies don't. But the power imbalance usually boils down to a company saying, well, we'll send you this for free, but in exchange for that, and that's where the conversation has to end. And usually that comes out prior to the product coming to you. Like, this was the product shipped. By the way, here's all this stuff, read up on it. And I start going through it. I'm like, wait a second. And yeah, like that imbalance cannot be exploited, or it just destroys the whole experience. And it's like the third company I found this year that's tried to do it. And I'm starting to like get to the point where, well, okay, I can't work with Maono now. Pretty sure I'm not going to be working with Saramonic anymore. But then that's disappointing because now I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, well, now I'm like whittling down who I'm going to work with because they're trying to literally push my ethical boundaries with this, unbalanced relationship we have. And that's the frustrating part about this, because like all you got to do is send me the product, and I liked the Saramonic Ultra. It sounds pretty damn good considering. And it sounds a lot better than the last Saramonic that I tried out at NAB last year, where it was kind of hollow sounding. This sounded actually quite good. There's a few quirks that I didn't like about it, but for the most part, decent.
Yeah. We got people responding to comments before we do. We should probably jump
Oh,
in.
yeah. Okay. Birkin Abbey wants to know, I live in a noisy apartment. I'm looking for a microphone that doesn't pick up a lot of background noise for $100 to $200. If you're looking for USB, just get a dynamic USB XLR. If you're in the US, $200 will get you the PodMic USB. Decent. If you have an interface already, just go buy an SM58. No microphone is going to block out all background.
Yeah, I was going to say microphones don't really influence how much noise. I mean, if you got a lot of noise, I would say skew towards dynamic. Dynamic mics like an SM58 is going to theoretically be better at cutting or at minimizing noise. I shouldn't say cutting noise out because they don't do that. Than like a Perception 120, like a condenser mic.
Yeah.
Just that lack in detail you can kind of use to your advantage in those situations with a dynamic.
Yeah. SR375 brings up an interesting point. I did like the distant test on those mics with the Saramonics. However, it's weak sauce, in my opinion, as there were no obstructions. I got stuck in an awkward situation doing the distance test because I needed to get the video done because I was actually later than the release date for it, which I don't really care, but I also kind of wanted to get it out the same day it was released. However, when I was doing that distance test, nobody was with my incredibly expensive camera sitting like 150 meters away from me. When I turned around and I kept talking while I was walking, it was kind of that, like my body was acting as a shield. And as I got further away, it started to break up. But yeah, I really wish I could have done some more tests where there would be obstructions in the way, but I didn't want to lose sight of my camera. I'm not saying I live in a rough neighborhood or my camera would be, but I mean, shit happens. If this camera gets stolen, I'm fucked.
Yeah, your business is done. Yeah.
And yeah, like that can't happen. Like I do have this second camera. Hi, I could use this one, but this camera has nothing on that camera. So yeah, anyways. Sure, SM58 all the way. Evening all. I like it UK. How's it going, buddy? Hassan is happy Saturday morning from down under. Oh yeah, it's Saturday morning. Cartoons are already on. Come on. Hey guys, first time I've been here in a couple months or so. Dan, yeah, where you been, Dan?
Welcome back.
Just been Just been sliding on Friday, I guess. Welcome back, brother. Do I need an audio interface? Can you recommend one which is cheap? He's asking Beresford. Yeah, I'll let Beresford handle that. Yeah, you will need with an SM58. But you're not going to get one. You don't buy one that's under $100.
No. That will not serve you well.
Jerker, I'm currently in an entirely different audio rabbit hole, and that is sound bars and home theater setups. Bought a 5.1 system. The quality was atrocious, but the Dolby Atmos was wow. So I need a replacement.
That stuff will cost you.
My wife hates spending money on shit like that, so we just have a sound bar and a sub in the living room.
Hey, at least you got a sub.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the sub is kind of a necessary thing. Like when you have a flat screen TV with just like a couple speakers, it sounds flat.
Oh God, especially like at some point I'm gonna have to, because in the living room I still got the built-in TV speakers, because there's just no easy way to accommodate speakers around just the way it's set up. But watching a movie has no impact when you're like, if you're somebody that enjoys watching a good movie, like, no, you can't. You gotta have speakers.
Jerker points out, not the only Turkish individual here. I live in Australia, but I'm Turkish. Cool. Oh. Are there any other Turkish in the crowd? Let us know. Action Podcast. How's it going, buddy? Hassan, the only mic that will cut off all noise, even in a noisy room, are lip mics, but they might not sound the best. Yeah, that's a problem. When you get like the headset mics and stuff like that, they're decent at getting the background noise out, but
you sound like you're in a helicopter. Yeah.
The weak sauce was the transmitter receiver, not you. Yeah, and you know what I mean, for even with Rode, with Saramonic, the 2.4 gigahertz microphones or transmitters, you're gonna struggle. Now, I did like how Saramonic had this extra antenna, which did help a bit, which gave it a little bit of a better performance than without. But yeah, King Paco, we're doing great. Thanks, man. Vocaster 1 Action Podcast. That's a good one. Vocaster 1 and SM58. Getting a lot of compliments on my audio quality makes me think, why the Rode Streamer X if it's all working, but then I like gear. Yeah. Yeah, the Vocaster is a great buy right now. It is cheap. It's on sale because Focusrite kind of failed in their rollout of that. So if you can pick one up, they're actually quite good, and I think you can get them for like $100 for the Vocaster 2.
Damn.
Or Vocaster 1 and Vocaster 1, I think, is $100. It's definitely good. If the mic has an internal recording, is the transmitted audio going to be used for sync scratch? So you'd really need over 100 million for a mic that costs $400. 100 meters for over a mic that costs $400. I don't understand why people need up to 300 meters on this mic, on the lavalier mics. Dylan, have you ever been 300 meters away from your camera with the need for?
No.
Like
300 meters.
300 meters. That's 100. A third of a kilometer.
He said 100 meters.
Oh yeah, 100 meters.
That's far. If you're in, like, I don't know, producing like a show, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, even with the zoom lens, a third of a kilometer. Like, come on.
Yeah, like I don't know, a football game if you got the referee wearing a lav, like, you know, like some weird situation like that. But I'd say for the vast majority of people, yeah, the kind of the nominal range should be fine.
Jerker says, no, you said Australia, but it's Austria. Sorry, buddy. I'm sure that happens a lot. It's Friday and I'm tired. I apologize. 20 in and 2 likes. Come on, guys, hit the button. Well, according to some, it's just people don't even know why they're here. So if you don't have a mic, get the PreSonus Revelator Dynamic. It's been a while since I used that. I don't even remember what my thoughts were on it, but apparently it's cheap as well. There's a lot of things that came out and tried to like kind of take this space that like the Lewitt Connect 6 is in, rolling out with onboard stuff, and a lot of them just fell through, which is kind of disappointing. You know what would have been great was the PodTrack P4 with onboard. That would have been fantastic. Hinge Shrimp, still have my SM58. Yeah, 7B overpriced. Depends on what you're doing. Under 50 quid in the UK currently for Vocaster 1. I might get a Vocaster 2 as I'd like to do some in-person shows with a guest. Nice. It's about obstructions, not distance. Yeah, again, 2.4 gigahertz, man. It's hard when you're talking about that. Like, even when I did the test, I had to make sure the camera was on the high ground, because even the camera can operate as at a far enough distance. Even the camera can be an obstruction, as you will. So yeah, it's tough. Gear Junkie. Hello, miscreants. Everybody have a great fucking week. Yes, sir. Putting off reviewing the Elgato. What's going on, brother? There's been a bunch of stuff that came in and it got shelved, and it never really came back from the shelf. And it's sad because I spent my money on that. Like, it was like $400. But I need to just sit down and like do that review up. That's my this week. I've got a couple of videos in the can because of releases and stuff like that. So maybe I'll just sit down and actually pound that one out. That's not a bad idea. Thank you for the reminder. I'm here because I bought most of my gear from your reviews and I like the brutal honesty. Thank you. I like that. The brutal honesty. I like
honesty. That. Yep. All about honesty.
I like SM7B, and I was able to afford it. Yeah, the SM7B is delightful microphone for depending on what you're using. Am I reviewing shelves? No, I would. That'd be fun. So, I don't know. I could probably have some pretty powerful opinions on shelves. What do you think? Anyways, going back, we've caught up, but going back to the whole thing with Saramonic, I think this is I'm kind of going in the same direction as Bandrew. Of next time, it's just everything's going back. I'm not even asking a question. It's going to limit what I can review and what I can do, but it's also going to, I'll buy it. I'd rather buy it than have to have that crap on my back. Would I buy something like this to review it though? Probably not. That's the drawback. I don't need this. Like, this has no value in my life. This is literally going to sit on my shelf. I have the Rode Wireless Pro. I have no reason to grab this off the shelf instead of the Rode Wireless Pro.
Yeah.
So like, why am I going to pay for this just to review it and have it sit on my shelf? That's where I come at from the like buying stuff. Like, some things I'm willing to buy. Like, I bought the Wave XLR and the Stream Deck Plus, whatever it is. Yeah, to me, that was a decent buy because one, I could resell it, but also I might be able to integrate that into my setup. Like, that'd be kind of awesome. I basically extra macro keys for a computer. I can't say no to that. So yeah, we'll see. I think that I'm going to be getting some more policies written up around the studio. Oh wow, there's a lot. You can do it all by your shelf. Yes.
Yeah.
SM7B. I don't think the lack of a transformer and different casing is worth $300. Yeah, you know what I mean. If you don't have the money for an SM7B, an SM50,
don't feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad. SM58 is going to do you just fine. Best advice I ever took was when you said I shot myself at shock yourself at how good the SM58 is. So I bought one. Nice. You know what? It's nice to know that the advice kind of hits, even if it's like one person it hits for, because I wish when I was getting into this way back in the day, I had to do a lot of my own. I had Dylan. Dylan was my go-to, and I'm like, Dylan, what should I do? And you know what? I had a lot of the same questions as a lot of other people. And, I knew a lot about broadcasting gear. That's why my first microphone was an RE320. I knew Electro Voice RE3 or the RE20. I used it. I tried the RE320. I liked the RE320, but like into interfaces and all that stuff, I did rely on Dylan a lot. And it's nice to know that, there's a lot of people that don't have a Dylan in their life. So it's nice that if I provide advice and it hits for some people, I really like to know that. That's awesome. Maybe keep a list of vendors you have had to return due to unreasonable terms. Yeah, and I think that might be a website thing. That might be a good one just to because I've had a few people reach out and I'm like, have you not seen any of my fucking videos? Like, just take a second and go watch my videos.
Yeah, have you not done your due diligence?
Yeah, like a little bit. Finally took a plunge on a real camera, Sony FS 700R, 480 frames per second. Damn. 4K 120 continuous. Damn.
My God.
$500. Yeah, that's nice, man. Worth every penny. The difference between a 1080 and a 4K camera, like a good 4K camera, is vast. Like the Sony A7C II versus the Rebel T7i is night and fucking day. I don't know if I'll ever be able to go back to this as a main camera. Like, it looks good still, but when you're editing it, oh
God, I just realized, it's funny you mentioned that. I just today was trying to do some point tracking with a blemish on a video clip in DaVinci Resolve. And I was getting so frustrated, that tracking point.
It's pixelated, because it's all pixelated.
And for those that don't know, DaVinci Resolve's tracking is like leading by a lot of people's measure. And so it's not the software. It's just when you get tight enough, there's not a lot of data. It gets very blurry and blotchy, and trying to follow a really specific point that's like, a few millimeters in width is you kind of gotta go through it almost frame by frame, because the algorithms just get so thrown off. If you have 4K, obviously it's a lot more data to work with.
It's so the difference, like, I punch into 140% and it's still 10 times better than 1080.
Yeah, well, especially like, I just did a music video with a bunch of 1080 footage, and you want to do like slow kind of zoom in, zoom out action, and it's really hard to do that when you start noticing at 1080p, and you're like, okay, there's some boxes, got to bring that back in.
Not to mention, if you don't frame your shot perfectly when you start shooting, and you've got something just off to the side, so you got to punch in like 5% already, and now you've lost 5% of your resolution.
Yep.
You're like, well, fuck, now we're screwed.
Yep.
Sean, I love my TLM 102. It's more than I need for most of my use cases, but it's awesome. Yeah, I think, like, I've got a few things around my studio that I like. I love it, but I have it because I like it. It's awesome. It's cool. And I think, like, especially when you have the money for it, it's worth it to treat yourself to that.
Anything Neumann, especially the TLMs, you're gonna do pretty well. I don't know anybody that's pissed off at their TLM 103 or 102, or what's the newer one, the 107?
I've never heard of the 107.
There's another TLM. It's like
I'm looking it up.
17 or something like that. I just seen something about it recently. Yeah, have a look at it. Maybe I'm full of shit. I know it's a higher 10 number.
Neumann.
Oh, maybe no, it wasn't the TLM 149. It was maybe the 107.
Yeah, that one's been out for a while.
Oh no, yeah, it is the 107. TLM 107.
Really?
1950 our MSRP.
102, 103. I like how that looks sexy.
Got that nice kind of big bushy look to it, huh?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't even know where I seen it, but I just recently I was like, oh yeah, I forget. I've never owned a TLM. I've used them a lot, but I've never owned one. So they kind of fall off my radar sometimes. But I'm always like, oh yeah, those are workhorses.
I had the one from Element FM, and Glenn, who is the engineer, he's the one that purchased them, and he never got paid back. Like, if it was property of the studio, he'd probably just go, here you go, have it. But because he had never gotten paid back, I was like, yeah, here, take it back. And I'm like, if you ever want to sell it, let me know. He's like, oh, think about it. He never got back to me, which is sad. I would like to have that TLM 102 back. I loved that microphone. It sounded great. I purchased a DJI mic V1, and I've only used it twice. The NTG3 has been used over 200 times. I agree. I'm doing something. You can't see it, actually. Here. You can see that green screen up there. That green screen I've used on my second channel a couple times. And setting up this NTG3 that I've got right now is a pain in the ass with the green screen, trying to get it up and high enough and above, because I stand for the green screen because it's not wide enough I've got to be almost right up against the green screen. Otherwise my hands go off the sides. I think I'm moving over to. I'm probably going to start using the Rode Wireless Pro for it, just because it's such a pain in the ass to like if the microphone. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to be doing the same thing. So, but yeah, NTG3 is my go-to as well. How's the MKH working for you? Have you been using it?
Yeah. When I do camera work, it's I mean, it sounds good. I haven't like refined any audio out of it. I should try it just for like voiceover or something. I only use it for like on camera stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a good sound. I mean, there's a reason why it's the
Yeah.
on the standard. I wasn't having that. I haven't had that chorusing effect that you were complaining about.
It's interesting because it's I think it's space related, and I think it's because I've actually noticed it on this, and it happens when I'm slightly off axis, and it's probably the space reacting and causing warble. So I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to move to a short shotgun or a pencil, which is probably for the best anyways. You're supposed to use a pencil mic inside, I know. So yeah, I'm probably going to move over for my talking head to maybe I'll use the Lot and Audio TLM102s. Shame. I should also do a video on those. Jeff Geerling has his review policy on GitHub. My goodness, that's a great idea. So to just reply with a review policy. So like when they ask me, I just, okay, here's my review policy. If you want it, send it to me. That's a great friggin' idea.
It makes it simple. It streamlines it, right? So you're not wasting time sitting there negotiating every single time.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's like here's the rules, take it or leave it.
I lost credibility with my pro Nickelback stuff. That's a shame. Nickelback's good. I like it. Nickelback is like they're pop rock, whatever. I love them. They're awesome. Earlier today, I was talking to an NBA broadcast producer about AK cameras. AK cameras are awesome. Oh, I didn't notice there was a super chat down here. Okay, why is it so hard to find EQ settings for the RE27ND? Matt, it's because nobody can give you a base setting for a microphone for EQ because everybody's voice is different. So you can't take the same EQ for Dylan's voice and apply it to mine.
Oh, broadcast engineers will tell you otherwise, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there's the big RE27 big radio sound, and it's like,
yes,
no.
But then, I mean, yes. However, if you want it to suit your voice, and the nice thing about the RE series of microphones is they sound great on everybody's voice, little bit of EQ, but they do have stock vocal settings on most DAWs. So when you go into the EQ settings, the parametric equalizer on Adobe Audition, you hit the presets and there's always a vocal one. And that's a good starting point.
I would never recommend you stick with that. No. But it's a great starting point in a lot of cases. If you're trying to, like, what a lot of people will do is they'll go through just all the different, because a lot of times DAWs will have like many vocal presets. And so you'll just go through each one, audition it, wait until you hear one that kind of takes the source and puts it in the right direction that you're looking for, and then refine that. It's a lot easier when you get more experienced. You can just do an EQ curve from scratch every time. But getting started quickly, that's a great strategy.
The one I've moved over to is the Waves. What is that? Mono channel, or I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's great. I love it. King Paco, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. I have a cheap webcam friend who does reviews sent me, and even that beats the crap out of my built-in camera. Add a couple of lights, I look very YouTuber-y. Yeah, you'd be surprised. So cameras don't really matter. They do to a certain degree when you want to do punch-ins, when you want to do like I got into a fight with somebody over this. We're like, you don't need more than 1080. It's true, you don't. I don't need to put my videos out at 4K, but I like to because I can. But it's also like when I've had situations with this camera where I've accidentally left a little bit. It's too tight, but I've left a little bit in this corner. You could see a little bit too much from this corner. And I'm like, well, I can't have that in my video. So I got to punch into 115% so I can center it. With a 1080 camera, you're fucked. You've got to reshoot. Otherwise, you're just going to end up having like a bunch of crappy background. So it helps for that, but mainly the good look on your camera is going to happen with lighting. You will have a way better experience with 1 or 2 decent lights. Half of my channel was done with these. These are flood LED lights from Home Depot. These cost you, I think, $12. This stand this is one of the stands you get off Amazon when you buy their cheap, shitty lights for photography. And they were like $35 for 2. And I just took the umbrellas off and I took the light off and I went and bought a floodlight. I put paper over the floodlight to diffuse it. And that was my lighting until like 2 years ago. And the quality, the difference was night and day. Absolutely night and day. That was a 1.5. Main reason was super slow motion and live streaming 4K through SDI to a rack switcher for the extra money and extra features. ND filters built in. Damn, that is a steal, man. With NDI built in. That's my next is going to be like moving up to the cinema cameras. Have a Canon to Sony speed booster so lens collection over 200 can be used. Nice. I actually made a decision on my T7i. I'm going to be retiring the camera and I'm going to be getting one of the crop sensor cameras at 4K to use with my Sigma 18 to 35. So I'm going to be getting a 4K Canon camera in the future. We'll see. Yeah. I'd offer my firstborn, Danny Brown, by the way, I'd offer my firstborn for an app on your phone that you can scan your room with, and it tells you what lights you need and placement for best results based on what camera you're using. I think, and I've thought about this a few times. So you'll notice behind me. So this background's okay. I got this purple light facing the wrong way. But when you see this background, there's a couple things that stand out. Is this blue is very bland, like right directly behind me. I don't know what to do with it. I'm thinking maybe like a light from above shining right on it, but you also don't want to flood out your background. You want your background to have punch in areas. You don't want it to be like all lit up, like unless you're like Tom, right? Tom Buck has like super well lit background. I like playing with I like the lighting where the guitar has a single purple light on it. I've got this light lamp behind me.
Yeah, you want accents. You want accents in the background. You don't want a fully flooded background.
I wish I could find somebody that could just walk into my studio and go, "This is what you do to get that accent down there." So I hear you. It's an art form all in itself, and I am not perfect. I'm not great at it whatsoever. However, if you go, I've done this a couple times where I've taken some video and I've walked into like a camera store where they sell lights and I said, I need to light this. What would you do? Usually it's pretty expensive, but it might be worth a try. So sorry to hijack the chat just to share my supreme excitement with some fellow camera nerds. No, dude, man.
Yeah, totally. That's what we're here for.
It's what chat's here for. I paid $30 for 3 Barab. I don't know what Barabs are, Wilf.
Barab.
You have to be a little bit crazy to have a Neumann for a personal use rather than just letting your employer pay for them. But when you have one, oh my, I don't think you have to be crazy for personal use. I've seen people that have, Dylan uses an RE27 for Zoom calls.
Yep.
Right. Like, I mean, that's almost as ridiculous as having a Neumann.
Yeah.
So, SR375, like the green screen stuff. Thank you. I'm glad. I'm hoping that second channel actually gets a little bit of momentum if I can keep up with the videos on it. But yeah.
Oh, Behringer. That $30 for 3 Behringers.
Oh, Behringers. Oh yeah. You can $30 for 3 Behringers is pretty easy.
They're the XM 1800.
Yeah.
3 of those.
How do I get one of you to be on my show about classic films? Simple invite or singing serenade video? I can do either. Yeah, why don't you email me? I've got my email on the you can go to my website and you can contact me through Aiden or darkcornerstudios.tech.
Just about StreamYard doesn't have like a call to action button where you can just put up an email on the screen.
Like it's Aiden at darkcornerstudios.tech, TECH. So it's pretty simple. Aiden at darkcornerstudios.tech, and send me something there, and we'll work out a detail for when I'm free for something like that. I can give you about an hour. That's about it. I have done other people's podcasts before. Wheezy, CF Wheezy, CF Wheezy. I was on his podcast as well. That was a while ago. 3 Behringer mics with clips. They're crap, and they were $30 for all 3. Money wasted. I told you
you know they're bad when $10 a microphone is too much.
Yeah, when $10 a microphone is like a waste of money, they're absolute dog shit. Lawton LA 220 V2, yay or nay? Yay. I love the LA 220s. I haven't run into a V2 of a Lawton mic that I haven't liked. Their whole series has been fantastic. The 308, not the 308. Yeah, the LS 208 is fantastic. The LA 220 is a great standard condenser microphone. It's fantastic. I would say yes. Seems a bit polarizing. Room is well treated in the look of this one. Curious on your take. I did a review on the LA 220. It's a very well balanced microphone. That was the whole point. I'm a live audio, guys. No EQ will ever be the same, even the same performer on a different night. Exactly, right? Like Dylan does live sound, although I'm pretty sure Dylan has live profiles for all of his singers.
No, it's well, I mean, for a given band, I'll save a scene that's all of their settings, so I don't have to do it again. But you know, most of the time, if they pull in another singer, so I'll just dial one in on the fly, or as they're singing, I'll figure it out, the hot spots and the cold spots.
Yep. Sean wants to know what's the color correction on that light. I don't do color correction. I run with what comes out of the can.
If you haven't gathered from the output of this live stream, we don't do color correction, Sean.
Yeah, I'm not good at color correction. That's another one of those things where I would love to like expand and get more into that. But I'm reaching the point of my YouTube career where I would rather hire somebody to do that stuff for me, to learn it for me and do it, rather than because I don't have, if I want to get my second channel up and running, I have to sacrifice something. And usually I'm sacrificing learning different stuff. So I just have a Canon Rebel T6i. The quality is way better than some of the broadcast cameras I used when I started out. Yeah, the Canon Color Science is fantastic.
Yeah,
this is the Canon Color Science, and it's actually not far off the color that I've set up on this Sony. I've actually gotten them pretty close. There's a lot more dynamic range with the Sony though, because I mean, I think it's like 16 stops on the A7C II. And God knows what a T7i is. Yeah, the Canon series is quite good. Glitter makes things less bland. I could throw some glitter on the board back there.
Do it. Totally.
What mic would you recommend for a low, mildly deep voice? I've used the RE series and SM7B, but I don't like the way they sound. If you learn how to EQ your SM7B, you will love it.
Oh yeah, SM7B on anything that's like low end heavy, like a baritone sax, man. Oh, this is your guy. It does require some refinement though, like all condenser or dynamic. All dynamic microphones, it requires some refinement. That low end, you can pull it out and you can shape it, but it doesn't just. I don't know what time, unless you use like a kick drum mic, like an AKG D112, and that'll give you some good low end response.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know of any mic that like the low end sounds really good just out of the box.
Yeah. No, and it's I just got lost in comments, sorry. I use a Blue Spark with a Rodecaster for Zoom calls. I've used the DLZ Creator with an NT2A for Zoom calls. I use this setup. So the NTG3 into the Rodecaster video. I use this for when my kid had a AGM for their synchronized swimming, and I'm trying to promote like getting I'm trying to raise money for the kids that can't afford to do a lot of the travel and stuff like that. It's a very rich person sport, and like we were getting just scraping by. So I'm trying to get sponsors, and I'm meeting with the president to try to talk about like I want to raise $20,000 a year for these kids, so all the kids can participate, all the kids can be a part of it, because there's a lot of kids that their parents are reaching out to me. They're like, I can't afford this shit. It's like $1,000 just to go for a competition in Toronto. So Anyways, I was doing the Zoom call and I showed up like this, and you could hear people's eyes roll while I was talking, like, oh, go away, jerk. Danny, thanks for the video tip. Never thought about taking a sample to a camera store. Yeah, they're great. Camera stores is in Canada, do never go to a Henry's. But if you've got a camera store where they're not snobby, you can get some decent answers. Okay, we're catching up here, man. We're catching up. Sean, I don't sound great for out of the box either, mostly because I was suffering while I was packed in the box. Exactly. Both the SM7B and SM58 are terrible if you don't know what you're doing, and great if you know what you're doing. Yeah, it's. Yep. I don't think the SM58 sounds terrible. It definitely needs.
I mean, honestly, out of the box, it sounds like a live sound mic. Like it sounds, yeah. It sounds like a handheld, right? But you can pull and I don't know. The closest I think I've seen to a mic that just sounds good, just out of the box, naked, is like like a U87 AI. And even then, I still have to go in. But as far as like where you start with those mics, you're close to where you need to be.
You're not dipping as much on the EQ. I have to say the only microphone, the only microphone that I've used that has been perfect out of the box, MKH 416. I could run a talking head video with the MKH 416 and not even touch the EQ for it for my voice. It wasn't perfect. Dylan probably still would have EQ'd my voice a bit, but I loved it. It sounded fantastic.
Well, and also it should be noted that with dynamic mics, the coloring of whatever preamp you happen to, or interface you're using, is more of a factor with a dynamic mic than a condenser mic. If you're plugging a dynamic mic into a really expensive preamp, you'll get more mileage out of that preamp and shaping that sound going. Like I find my 7B before, when I was just going straight into like the Rodecaster or into my Mackie board over there, I needed to gain the hell out of it, and it didn't sound good. It was loud. Right?
It sounds like you put a wet sock over a microphone.
Yeah, but then going into like my audience, if I want more of a clean high-end sound, or going into my Neves, if I want more of a warm sound, like, oh my God, you want the best bassy combo, you get an SM7B and a Neve 1073. That's like a $4,000 set of things, but your low end will be amazing.
Speaking of rich people, eh?
Yeah. Speaking of bougie assholes.
Fabrice M Studio, hello from France. How's it going, man?
Hello.
And the little wave in there is like a live long and prosper wave. Do I still do this? Here it is. There you go. Thumbs up. Sean says it only costs $12 to take the bus to Toronto. Yeah, for the fees for swimming, pool rentals is obscene. Each competition with housing in Toronto is about $1,000 per competition. It's ridiculous. Also, Vistec for life. Yes.
Yep.
Andrew. Yep. I know a lot of people who hate the U87 Raw. I don't like the U87 Raw. Well, I don't dislike it. I just don't find it to be like, there's no wow. However, it's like an SM7B for me. I don't think SM7B sounds great either.
I don't really know of any mic that sounds amazing raw. Maybe it's just because, again, I'm a producer, so I process everything. And so I'm used to hearing stuff processed and working with stuff that's been processed. So stuff that's just kind of naked. That said, the sounds that you know what sound I really liked raw was the NTR. I liked the NTR.
I got so much hate for that. They're like, it just sounds muddy. No, it does not.
It sounds like a ribbon. What do you want?
It sounds like a ribbon. Like, you're going to have to notch a couple things out on it, but I thought it sounded fantastic.
Yeah, no, as far as mics go, I would say the NTR, the U87, no, the ISO mic is okay. But I don't find it any better or worse than the U87. I'd say it's on par. Doesn't need any gain, although I have hit the roof on that mic more times than I've padded it. I've needed to pad that mic.
Yeah, it's as sensitive as hell, man. I had that on my Arturia AudioFuse Studio at gain at 0.
Yep.
And it was showing neg 12 on peaks.
Yep, that's what it's built for. I don't agree, but that's what it's built for.
Ridiculous. Pixel Sean, how's it going, Pixel Sean? Wish there were more Rode broadcaster mics around. Great sounding, never in stock with Rode I think they've moved on from that, and I I would say watch for what Rode might be doing in the future. When they did the Rode X XDM 100, that was basically the broadcaster. It was the same style of microphone. I don't know what's going on with Rode right now, like no inside information. However, I've noticed certain things aren't being promoted by them anymore. Their XCM 50, XDM 100, I haven't really seen much about that. Broadcaster mics. So who knows? They're really leaning in, obviously, to the Rodecaster video and all that stuff, and Rodecaster branding. So yeah, I would say like the pod mic, I think, kind of took over for a lot of the broadcaster style stuff. But yeah, you never know. Keep an eye out for that. Challenge to the RE series for Electro Voice, which that original broadcaster was. It'd be nice to see. Fabrice, I'm fine, thanks. And yes, the Vulcan salute. I'm French Trekkie. Amen, brother. Nice. Same here. Stop the hate. Newer U87 SM7B. All mics matter. Okay.
Amen to
that. Yeah. Okay. As soon as you said newer, I should have stopped reading. Sorry, man.
No, and I think it goes without saying, like when we talk about our ridiculous setups, right? And when we talk about just kind of stuff that we've configured, like, you know, Aiden jokes about my RE27 that's going through a $2,000 Vorsys that's glorified Teams mic. We're not saying that you need this stuff to do it. We have this stuff because we can afford to, because we make money, a decent amount of money doing all this stuff. So we can afford to kind of write that off. But if you're like a hobbyist or you're just getting started, like, no, you don't need any of this stuff. And, you know, shoot for it, but you know, to say that you need this out of the gate is really disingenuous.
Yeah. Kylie, I get the most gorgeous low end out of my Rode NTR active ribbon. Good to meet another.
Nice. I was gonna say you might be the first one.
No EQ necessary, and I get a lovely comments even on Zoom. That's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is warm. You don't realize how warm it is until you put another mic beside it. Like, you can put the Blue Sona beside it, and it sounds like the Blue Sona sounds bright in comparison. It's a very moody mic. I love it. Like for a jazz singer. Oh, yes, please. Dan, the better the mic, the more you will have to fuck with settings. That is kind of true. The more you spend on a microphone, it's kind of like the more expensive the tool, the more experience you need using it. MKH 416 I would still put out there as being one of the few that you could get away running naked on that mic. 1 second. Are you okay? Okay. Just a massive slam upstairs.
You think Rode has another one of those NTRs lying around? I'd love to do like a Blumlin stereo pair with two of those.
Well, if Rode's watching, hey guys, do you have an extra one of those?
Yeah, we'll do video on it,
NTRs hanging around.
I personally have never stereo mic'd anything with two ribbons, but I'd love to do.
I'd love to try.
I'd love to do like a drum room with two ribbons in like a Blumlin setup.
What about a grand?
Yeah, I don't know that the ribbon would capture enough detail. It would make the piano sound really creamy.
I guess you'd have to use like a higher frequency, not a higher frequency, but a mic that captures a higher frequency in detail.
I'd be up for trying it. I mean, if you guys want to send another NTR our way, we'll do it. We'll mic a gray. No, I'm not gonna mic a muffler with a ribbon. That'd be terrible.
No, nothing like that.
No. But we'll do a bunch of different instruments. I use them as overheads, room mic. I would do a piano, guitar, obviously.
I know some of them from Rode watch once in a while. So guys, feel free. I'm just saying. Dylan's got it at his house anyways.
Yeah, we got one. We just need the second one.
I could use an NTR for my house. I let Dylan hold it because Dylan will use it more than I do, and that's one of those fucking microphones that you just don't put on the shelf.
No,
you just don't leave it on the shelf. Like, I've got a shelf full of microphones that that is not one of them for sure.
I'm so tickled that somebody's using that on Zoom calls though. That's amazing.
That is great. Danny, I'll give Rode their due. Their presets on the Rodecaster Pro 2 seem pretty good starting points for the most part for the likes of
Yeah.
SM7B condenser, letting you tweak those for your preferences. Yeah, I really like the presets on Rode. I don't like the interface for changing them. That's the one thing that, like, when Mackie came out with their DLZ, damn, like the ability to really dial in your EQ on the Mackie was gorgeous. But you know, I mean, you're also dealing with a much smaller screen on the Rode, and they've always kind of had that look. So yeah, it would be nice to see Mackie, and like if there was a Rodecaster Pro 3, I would love to see the Rodecaster Pro with a little bit more of the UI of the Mackie DLZ creator, especially for that stuff. Would like to try the NTR as I have a deep voice. Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It sounds fantastic. What did you record with it? It was an acoustic guitar. Yeah, you did the song.
Yeah, it's Chemical Workers song.
Chemical Workers song. You did that for the guitar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounded gorgeous.
Well, and the vocals, the vocals were all done on that.
Oh yeah. That was fantastic. That was how hard.
Honestly, the ribbon mic does to sound what film grain does to video. It will remove a lot of the detail that maybe you're used to when you're dealing with 4K footage, but it adds like a smooth texture to everything that just kind of helps you forget the lack of detail.
Yeah. Kylie, as a fellow former producer, I would always say less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. People, especially nowadays with EQs that have like 12 nodes, and people will just be like, well, they're there, so I should use them. It's like, no. If you can get a signal path with no filters, but if you can get a signal path that's already like relatively close to your goal, your objective, and this is where like having more mics and having more preamps and having more like resources like that's where that comes in handy, because you're shooting to get the most the natural sound that's as close to what you're shooting for.
Yeah. This is a question. We've got one coming in. Dimebag says good USB mic to start. Yeah, especially when you're not making money. Start with a USB if you can. Just to kind of get your head around a lot of the audio and EQ. This one, Adele. Hello, Dark Corner Studio team. We're a team.
Hi.
How are you? I just wanted to ask about the Rode K2 as an upgrade from the Rode 5th gen. The K2 I've never used.
K2 is a good mic. It's a good,
Okay.
What you would call it, valve condenser.
Yeah.
Does it rival a U67? No, not in my opinion. But it's a good, for that tier, I would say it rivals do you remember with the Perception, the AKG tube valve or valve condenser? Yeah. What was that one? 800 or 840, 820?
Yeah, 820.
Yeah, so I would say it rivals that. It rivals any kind of tube condensers. I've got the Vanguard V13 tube condenser. It's good. I would say the K2 rivals that in terms of its practicality. The practicality of the sound. That the V13 is a very polarizing mic. I think Aiden actually did a review of it on this channel somewhere.
Del, I would say depends on what you're using it for too. If you're upgrading, this Rode 5th gen is a fantastic mic. You could continue with that and never have to replace that. You don't need to upgrade from that depending on what you're doing with it. If you're a gamer, don't. But if you're a musician and you're looking for something a little bit more with more character, I can't speak for the K2. Dylan seems to say it's fantastic, so I would take Dylan's word on that. So yeah, I haven't met very many Rode mics I don't like. So although it'd be nice to get the K2. I think maybe, I don't know if they're still releasing them or not. Or
great voiceover mic.
Unfortunately, my work doesn't like us using unapproved devices on a work laptop, so no U87 Teams calls for me. It's a shame.
I know what that's like. We're lucky. We've got obviously production software on our for our jobs. We need that stuff, so you can sort of skirt around some policies.
This one, Liberty Dude, I appreciate. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for the entertainment, guys. Hey, man, glad we can help.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones, Dimebag brings that up.
Sad news. Rip Quincy.
because I begged Rode on stream, I liked the video. Technically, I could just reach out to them and just send them an email and say, hey guys, could I? I've got a video idea. I feel guilty doing that because like if it's like I've reached out to them before for the NTG3, where I reached out because I wanted to do the video comparing the lav mic versus shotgun versus standard. So I didn't feel bad about reaching out for that. And also I got the NTG3 because I really wanted a boom mic to compare to the MKH 416 as well. So like I had multiple videos I could get out of that, and I didn't feel bad for that. But for just reaching out for another NTR, I would feel kind of guilty. I don't like asking for product from companies. I like asking for product if I can like bang out a video and there's value for the viewers. Other than that, like I also reached out for Rode mics, the NTG. What did you get? The NTG 3? No, the NTG. What are the little pencil mics you got? The NT5s.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I reached out for the NT5s for the video shoot because we wanted to only have Rode microphones along with recording on our Rodecaster Pro, and we needed pencil mics for that. So that came in handy. Quincy Jones. How hard did you take the Quincy Jones death?
I mean, he was up there. I just seen a friend of mine, posted for his 90th birthday last year. So I was like, oh my goodness. But it's never easy, right? I mean, there's a whole era that goes with these people.
Yeah. Shame. Sean says dynamic duo. We kind of are, Dylan.
Get it? Because I was talking about ribbon dynamic mics and stereo pair. That's good. That was good.
Hey, we're an hour in. I think wow, that kind of passed fast.
Yeah,
good.
Like it did too.
No problems. You notice, I switched back over to the Rodecaster video and no issues whatsoever.
Did you switch back?
No, sorry, I got a little. I quit smoking. I take these. Oh yeah, it's
nice.
auto.
I didn't see you take them. I just noticed you suddenly started talking like that. He's like, he's eating something.
No, I had a Nicorette in my mouth. These are fantastic. Like I made about 7 of these. I don't smoke anymore, so only for special occasions. But yeah, this makes me not want to rip my own scalp off. The Encore 300. I've been planning on getting one of those for a while. It's another one of those. Do I pay for it, or do I just wait for the company to send it to me? I think that's for Blue though, isn't it? The Encore 300. Anyways, yeah, I don't. We'll see about how many. If I follow the Bandrew school of thought of just purchasing my mics outright, or just waiting for companies. We'll see. I'd go broke if I had to buy everything for this channel.
Oh, God.
Anyways, thanks guys. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week for the live
Next
stream.
time.
Cheers.